All right, Patrick. So introduce yourself first.
Okay, I'm Patrick Hermans. Got into real estate last November, and I kind of settled into Keller Williams mid-December. I think a little after December 15th, but still before Christmas. So relatively new here. Started out mostly focusing on residential properties, and then I kind of gravitated towards investors and investment properties, and so that's where I'm at now.
Great, great. So, what opened your eyes to working with investors?
The difference in mentality was big for me. When you're working with someone buying a house for themselves, they're trying to save money. And when investors looking to buy, they're trying to make money. So you don't have to push as much in order to get the commissions you feel like you deserve. And it comes out to how good are you at finding properties. If you find a great property for them, they're happy to pay you what you feel like you should get. Whereas if it's a residential property, they're still going to want to save money on your commission. So that mindset shift was big. And then also a big time investor is going to buy multiple times a year.
Right.
So it's not one person buying a house every 7. It could be one person buying 4 or 5 properties a year.
Mm-hmm. And where have you started to build relationships with these investors?
That's actually the easiest part, finding investors. There's a lot of sites where these investors will go to communicate. There's a lot of meetups. If you go to meetup.com and you just start going to these, chances are you can find a couple a month in your area, and just talking with them, asking what they're looking for, and asking if they'd be okay with you starting to search for them. No investor's going to say no to that.
Right.
Which is great because that's an easy way to pick up clients.
Sure. So it's my understanding that you are really starting to operate in a way that you're not necessarily the agent on the ground with these investors.
Yes.
and opening the doors for them. Tell me a little bit about that.
It was, I think, about 4.5 weeks ago, I found the referral system, and I've really put all of my time into that because finding investors isn't very difficult. You can find them online pretty much anywhere, on any of the social media platforms. And using the referral system, I'm able to hand those out to agents who can help wherever they're looking. The numbers on it are nice because it's, instead of me trying to look in Massachusetts where I'm licensed, I can now go out and look in any state and look for investors who are buying all across the country. So 25% commission on a referral fee is outweighed really easily when you open it up to 50 states.
Interesting. And you said using the referral program. Tell me more about this referral program.
I think it was 5 weeks ago, KW rolled out the new referral system, which is amazing because you don't have to fight with dot loop and get things signed anymore. You're able to, once you pick up a client who asks you to help them find an agent, you just plug their information in, get in touch with an agent, send it to them, and it's seamless. It takes seconds to get them over to them, and they're able to reach out right away. So it cuts out a lot of the legwork that used to go into handing out a referral, getting papers signed, and having them come back. So it just makes it a lot easier.
Okay. So, one thing that I heard you say before is you came in with the mindset of maybe building a team and building people around you in this specific marketplace. Has your mindset changed on that?
Yeah, completely. Obviously, everyone looks at teams as a way to scale up and save on your time without having to give up on being able to work with clients. And so that's everyone's goal is to kind of start a team and have 4 or 5 buyers agents under you and some admin. And I found that you really don't need that when you switch over to referrals. I mean, in KW, you have a team of over 100,000 agents in the U.S.
Yeah, I think it's 180,000 agents.
That's a big team. That's a really big team, and so you're able to use them.
Yeah.
And in terms of pay, it's equal if not better because you don't have to give anyone any resources. They already have the resources in place, and you're able to hand them a buyer just like you would to someone who's on your team.
Interesting. And so so it sounds like you're using a couple of different tools and technology platforms to put this all together. Can you give me an idea or walk me through what are those tools and how are they interacting with each other?
So yeah, you have to piece together a few different things. The hardest one is finding clients. Obviously, everyone battles with that. But you can go to things like Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter's another good one. Anywhere where you can search based off of keywords, you're able to find people, because investors especially, they love talking about being investors.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that a lot of people will brag about. So something that works really well is looking for someone who may call themselves an investor but doesn't own anything yet. So you know their mindset is they want to buy. And then you just reach out to them. Every platform's got direct messaging. And so you're able to contact them through there and just talk about what they're looking for and where they're looking to buy. Because with the referral network, you can find them someone anywhere.
Right. Okay, so I'm an investor that you just found. I don't have an agent. However, I need an agent, and I live, someplace that's 2,000 miles away from your market center. What's the next step?
You got to find them an agent.
Okay.
At first, I was going into the KW Agent Finder, and I would just search the area, and I don't care what area it is. There's going to be hundreds of agents there. And then you can filter that by keyword. For me, it was investment. I would look for people who have investment in their profile,
Mm-hmm.
and then you call them. Now it's kind of switched to inside the referral network. There's a good system there where you can look up on a map, and you can narrow it down to your area, and it will pull up all the agents. It will give you their transaction history, so you can filter through to find really high quality agents. If you find investors who are looking for commercial properties, you can filter through by that. And it makes it really easy to find everyone. And then it's just a matter of getting on the phone with them, seeing if they've got the time to take on a client.
So you're going through and you're calling all these agents. Tell me how that works. I mean, how many people are you calling?
It depends. If it's a day where I have a good amount of referrals to give out, I think the numbers come out to, for each referral I give out, I'll have to call somewhere between 10 and 20 agents.
Okay.
Before I get someone who answers the phone.
Okay.
Once they answer the phone, I don't think I've ever had an agent decline a referral.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you filter them through to make sure that they're an agent who specializes in what you want them to, most agents have time to take on a new client.
So you're calling 10 to 20 agents. Are you leaving messages on their voicemails?
No, I can't. I can't, because when I pick up a client, especially through social media, you've got a day. They'll give you a day to find them an agent, and then they're going to look elsewhere.
Okay.
Because if they're posting on social platforms, there's agents from that area who are looking for that too. So it's really a game of who gets there first, and then you want to give them out before other people contact them and say, look, they're taking a long time, just come with me. So you've got a day to do it. So you don't have time to be leaving messages with an agent, letting them get back to you and then talk to them about it. You've got to have someone answer the phone right away, tell them the situation so they can reach out. So leaving a message will just, I'll get a lot of calls back, but at that point it's too late.
Right. Do you find it interesting that so many agents don't answer their phones?
It blows my mind.
Yeah.
There's a lot of agents who miss out on referrals because they didn't answer their phone.
Yeah. You were telling me about one agent who did answer their phone and then they got multiple referrals.
Right. So, especially if you're in a big city, I have a lot of investors who will target specific cities like Memphis, Dallas, Chattanooga, Tennessee. Indianapolis is another big one. And the only thing I'm looking for out of an agent is someone who can reach out to them quickly, someone who can touch base with them, whether it's a text message saying, I want to call you later in the week, or even just an email. You don't need to do a lot, you just need to touch base.
So you've identified the investor, you have reached out and found an agent in their area. What's the next step? How are you connecting these people? Are you sending a referral form over? What's that next step?
It's the KW referral system.
Okay.
So I'll go in, and once you find an agent, you'll search that name within the referral system, and it will pull them up. You click on them, and it gives you the option to send them a referral, and it will open up a page where it has your referral fee, your timeline, and then the client's name, email, and phone number, and then a notes section. And you just fill that out, copy and paste their name, phone number, email, put in the notes what they're looking for, and then you send it over, and that agent will have it in their inbox. They'll get it to the Kelly app, they'll get it to their email, or they can go into KW Connect, in my referral section, and they can get it through there. Once they accept it, it will release the information to them. So whereas the way it used to be was in dot loop, they would get everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they decided they didn't want to accept it, they still had all the information, which kind of puts you on your heels because you're going to worry about them reaching out even though they decline the referral. But with the new system, they don't get any contact information unless they accept the terms of the referral.
However, you aren't just putting it in the system and then putting it out there and saying, I have a 24-hour time limit, whoever grabs it. You're finding the person first.
Right.
Then you're making the connection through
Right.
The Keller Williams referral system.
Exactly. I like to have control over who gets it, because it'd be nice to just hand it out to anyone, but you want to help the client more than anything. I mean, if you don't find them a good agent, they're not going to close, and then that work was for nothing.
Right.
So it's important to find an agent who can really help. So it's worth spending the time to speaking with an agent and getting a feel for what they plan on doing.
So it sounds like you have multiple people in specific areas, or certain hot spots in the country
Right.
now, which may be different next month and maybe different next
Right.
quarter,
Right.
and as things shift. Are you spreading this out through multiple agents? Or are there certain agents that are getting a lot because they answer their phone?
Yes, there's some agents who've gotten quite a bit of business from me just because they answered their phone. So when I get clients for a new city or someplace that I haven't used before, I'll give them to a few different agents, and they'll only go to agents who answer their phone right away. And you get 4 rings, and then I'm moving on to the next person. So they've got to answer quickly. That's kind of the first test of how diligent are they.
Right.
And then they've got to be open to taking them on, and they've got to have the time. That's the big question. The 2 big questions are: can you reach out today, and do you have the time to work with them? So once I get an area, I'll send some to a few different agents, and the ones that reach back quick and stay updating me often, I'll really focus down on them. And there's 5 agents that I've used on a regular basis, and over the last 4 weeks, each of those 5 have gotten somewhere between 8 and 12 referrals apiece.
Wow. So I see the more people that tap into what you're doing, the more opportunity there is actually out there for the agents that are engaging at a high level as well.
Yes, exactly. So if one of the other big things is knowing how to use the system. There's a lot of referrals that will get lost and will expire because the agents don't know how to use it. So having at least a basic understanding of how to accept a referral is all that I need in order to give it to them, which isn't hard to do. It just takes a few minutes to figure out, but a lot of agents aren't spending the time to learn it.
Right.
And so they'll lose referrals because they didn't realize they needed to accept them in certain places. And then once they know that system, if you just go in there and you network within that system and you communicate with people through that system, you're going to be the person they go to, because it's going to make it easier on my end giving it out, knowing that I'm not going to have to follow up every 3 hours explaining how to use it. If I can just put the information and send it to them and know they're going to reach out and know they're going to update me through the system, it makes my side a lot easier, and they're just going to get everybody in that area.
It's amazing the opportunity that it's opening up for multiple people. Now, so I'm hearing this, maybe I'm an outsider, and I love the idea, and I just want to run with this. Would you be able to do this outside of Keller Williams?
No, you couldn't. That's one of the biggest things, is if there isn't a Keller Williams office in the area, you can give a referral to a different company, but then you're going back to the old dot loop system where you're giving them information, everything, all the information on the client before them accepting it. So there's a risk of them just taking that and declining the referral and reaching out anyways. Follow-up is a lot more difficult because that's also outside of the system. And it's tough to find agents who are open to working with anyone from any company. So being inside Keller Williams, you have the most agents, and then you've got the easiest and most convenient way to reach out to people and communicate to each other. And there's also a level of security that comes from knowing if something happens, you're in the same company, you can call that office, you're on the same team, you guys work together, and you can figure it out. So outside of KW, I wouldn't be able to do the numbers that I'm doing just because of how slow the process would be. It would take a lot longer for me to fill out the form, send it over, them sign it, give it back, them reach out, and extending that timeline is where you lose a lot of these clients.
So give me some of those numbers so I can really wrap my mind around the power behind these tool systems and kind of shared culture and mindset that is within this Keller Williams organization.
So because of how easy it is for me to give out referrals, it just comes down to how many people can you find. Once you find someone who says they want you to go find an agent, you know you can give that referral out to somebody. I started doing it about 4.5 weeks ago, and this morning I'm at 219 referrals.
You've given out 219 referrals.
Yes.
in what period of time?
4.5 weeks.
4.5 weeks, 219 referrals.
Yes.
Amazing.
It's a good system.
It's an amazing system. Does it shift your mindset as far as what you got into real estate expecting your job would be?
Completely. It's completely shifted everything. I haven't even looked for a client in Massachusetts in 4.5 weeks because I know how much time that's going to take. I know if I do get a client here, I'll get 100% of the commission, but that's going to take somewhere between 9 and 18 hours of work. Or in that 9 and 18 hours of work, I could have handed out 5 referrals, which is more than what that commission would have equaled on the person I'm working with.
Right.
So it's not worth it for me to pull out of trying to find clients around the country and try to find them for myself.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is, we're told our 5 jobs are lead generation, lead follow-up, going on appointments, negotiating contracts, and practicing scripts and presentations. You've essentially created focus on really top 20%, which is the lead generation and the follow-up.
Yes.
The other things are really on, say, your team of the 180,000 agents that are available to take a referral.
Exactly. And the best, I've been in real estate for years, so I know the people I'm giving these clients to are probably better than I am. They've done more deals than I've done. So I know I'm putting them in good hands to agents who can probably handle them better than I could have. Yeah. So I said, well, I can still prospect and I can find clients, but I may not be able to service all of them to a point where they close on a deal.
Wow.
So I focused on that instead.
It's really amazing and eye-opening. This technology has come to us. It feels quickly for us. I know that there's a lot of research and development that goes into this till we get something that's this powerful. Do you see this technology enhancing even more?
Absolutely. I've seen it. So I just happened to start using it essentially right after they rolled it out. And in the first 2 weeks, I could see a lot of changes because I was in it every day. Buttons would move around. There'd be new buttons. There'd be different parameters you have to put in on the referral. And so I could see they were tweaking it. And that slowed down after about the first 2 weeks. And I still noticed that every once in a while there'll be a change. So I know they're working on improving it. And every time they adjust it, it's getting a little bit better. So I do see it getting better. Once agents start to really scale it out and start sending a lot more referrals, there's going to be more changes to it. There are some things that are a little difficult to use once you start getting in more than 10 referrals. It gets harder to kind of organize everything. And each day something's rolling out to make that easier. So I know that next month the system's going to look different and it's going to make it even easier.
What's one thing that you're excited to see happen with the technology that's going to amplify the actions you're taking?
Everyone knowing how to use it.
Okay. So if everyone knows how to use it, it's going to make it easier for everyone to send referrals, receive referrals, and keep that abundance happening within the confines of Keller Williams.
Absolutely. For someone to really know how to receive referrals and follow up through that system, they're going to be who I send everyone to. There are agents who they know how to accept them, but they don't really know what to do with them after. And so they'll end up in the referral form will end up in places it shouldn't be, like in the loss section and expired or in funded when it shouldn't be. So knowing how to handle the system is a big differentiator when it comes to me finding an agent to use, because that will just open up my network to even more people.
Now I know that you're very passionate about listening to podcasts and researching things on YouTube. Do you see that being a aspect of your business where you'll be dealing with the referrals and then also educating people so you can kind of almost grow and educate, say, the team that you talk about?
Right, my 180,000 agent team. Absolutely. The finding referrals right now is me proactively going out and reaching out to these clients. So now that the system's here and it makes it really easy to give these referrals out, I can make my life easier if people are coming to me asking for help. So shifting my focus to what can I do to get people to come to me asking for help. And it's through things like podcasts, YouTube videos, blogs are still big, especially for investors. Something that people who are looking to invest or may not know exactly what they want to do, if they can come to me as a source of information, I build that trusting relationship with them to where when it does come time for them to want an agent, they'll ask me for help. So that will shift it to where I'm not spending my time looking for people to send out. I'm spending my time helping more than one person at a time who will eventually come to me for this help.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing some of that. I look forward to following up on this and seeing where you build this 219 referrals. I can, in another month you're going to have, 400 out there. And as we know, the cycles usually take 2-3 months or so. So I'll be really excited in another, say, another quarter of the year to see the abundance that that's bringing. And I think by then we're going to see a lot of other people tapping into this too.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really good tool.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I appreciate your time. Thanks for sharing with us. And like I said, we'll check back with you soon.
Look forward to it.
All right.